been some time. Un momento, por favor. It's been some time. Hey, how you doing? My name is Clancy. I should not do. My name is Clancy. A couple months ago, I put out my debut album, Daydreaming. I've been doing these kinds of videos where I deconstruct each one of the tracks of Daydreaming. Right now, we're on track number 3, which is called Her. You can listen to it up here if you haven't already. And let's dive into it. So how the song came about, I was diddling with this idea on the acoustic guitar. I'll show you real quick. It's been some time. So for some context about how I made this song, back when I made it, I didn't have a lot of gear with me. I was just like in the process of moving. So the only thing I really had was like some basic recording gear and this guitar that someone gave to me. So I was just trying to figure out what I could do with the few things I had. So experimenting with the sound, I found that if you have like a piece of cloth, this is not the one I originally used. But if you have a piece of cloth and you stick it here, this is nothing new, but it was like a new realm for me. And you just stick it like there, maybe you get this like muted sound. So I was very inspired by that type of sound, and I really wanted to make a song with it. So I was already like writing all this stuff about my girlfriend, so I kind of just put the pieces together. So it basically started with these two guitars over here. Which is literally just me playing that guitar with a piece of cloth in it, so it sounds kind of like palm muted the whole way through. And I had 2 takes, panned each one to the left and one to the right, and it gives you this like more spacious sound. And I layered that with an electric guitar doing the same thing, but I was like trying to palm mute it myself. So because it's like right in the center when you put them together, and you hear it in the song, like in the context of the song, you're not really thinking like, oh, those are 3 guitars are like sounding at the same. No, it's just like one big sound. Not really big, but you know what I mean. And just for more context, I recorded probably like 90% of the song in this studio right here. Now this space right here is my sister's closet because I was living in her apartment at the time. And I just grabbed like my laptop and like whatever it is that I had. I didn't even have like a good laptop at the time. Yeah, I think the only thing I didn't record in that like made up studio was like all the backing vocals, which we'll dive into later. And I'm just mentioning that because I want to make it clear that you don't have to have like expensive gear or like a fancy space to make the music that you want to do, and that it can sound like really good if you really put the work into it. So yeah, that's how it started. Then I needed to add some drums. These are the main drums. It basically follows this pattern for most of the songs. Very simple, very straightforward, kind of lo-fi hip-hop vibes. You know what I mean? So far we have this, right? We have some guitars and we have a drum pattern. At this point, I already wrote the chorus. Like her, like her. So the 2 main things that I added after that is the bass, which I made completely from scratch. It's just a sine wave with some unison and distortion and a compressor to not clash with the kick drum. So it's very straightforward. It sounds like this. It's just root note the whole time. And then I added a few pads. So then I have my loop to write the whole song. This is basically where I set up the vibe. And I use this chord change that I really liked, completely separated from the scale that I'm playing on. So that silence, I feel like it does everything for me in this song. I'm trying to get away from this habit, but sometimes I'll just like start working on loops. So I'll have like a main idea, maybe I have like a hook in my head, but I have to put it in the computer at least to get the vibe, to know what the drums are going to sound like, to know what the bass is going to sound like. I don't know why, but that really helps me get through the whole song. Like I need to like make a demo, and then maybe I can just sit down with the guitar and finish the song. But until then, it's very hard for me to, keep going if I don't have the vibe in my head. So it basically stays like that throughout like the intro. That's the pattern that we know. In the first verse, nothing changes much. In the pre-chorus, we have a chord change, but it's basically like other than the chords, the instruments are the same. I just cannot believe that every story told could be true. The same vibes. Now, the few tweaks that I did for the chorus were to open up the filter for the drums. So, as you know, the drums sound like this. But listen to the few tweaks that I did so it would have more presence and it would be more interesting when the chorus hits. And literally the only thing I did is open up that filter and I added some delay. For those of you who don't know, delay is basically when you hear a sound and then it repeats itself and you set like a rate of how many times you're gonna hear it and how fast is it gonna be. So I basically added a delay to that like snare, snap, whatever you want to call it, and it goes from left to right. So that's why you hear the like it dissipates going to the right. And I think the only other thing that I added for that first chorus was these strings mimicking the notes that the guitar is doing. Staccato strings. Then the second verse hits. So there's a couple new things over here. So, okay. I don't know if you heard her like this whole time, but this is Vienna. She wants to be here so bad, but I'm not allowing her because then she's like doing that. But she just came to say hi to Vienna. Oh, she doesn't want to do that. Damn me, Bookie. So the second verse evolves significantly. And the things that I added are some acoustic drums. You hear it here. So it's basically doing the same pattern, but it's adding like a few details. When you hear that snare, you hear like the right. How do you call that? Wait, the bell. And then I'm adding like a few ghost notes because I wasn't playing it like live. I just programmed it, but in my head I was picturing like if I was playing drums, how would I play it? Like those details, like those are called ghost notes, and I feel like it adds so much to the, like for it not to be so square and on the grid. And then the other thing that we have is just a few layers doing the same arpeggio that I was telling you about, the same notes that the guitar is playing. So we got four. Not all of them are standing on the second verse, but one is like in the chorus, and I'll just cover it right now. One of them is this one. Very like 80s Juno type sound. Then we have, I guess it's like a similar one, but mixed differently. I honestly don't know. Doesn't sound that different. A more spacious one. And then we have like an electronic glockenspiel, or like some bells. And all of them together. And then you mix them with the guitars. And with the strings. It's just a vibe. And honestly, nothing else is happening other than that. I guess the only thing is the shaker that you hear here. Right? So it's just this. And I think I took it from Ableton. It's just that. It's a cool detail. It kind of builds up for the silence to hit. Yeah, so the instrumental is like doing half of the work. So it's been a couple weeks since I shot this video, but I'm just realizing now that I'm editing it that I forgot one little detail that I want to show you real quick. So it's this snare right here, and it's just to accentuate the drums in the last chorus, so it goes like this. Yeah, I mean, it's stupid, but it does make a difference in the last chorus. I just wanted to show you that. So yeah, now we can go back to, the video as it is. But the vocals are doing the other half of the job. So I'll just show you some snippets of the vocals.
Never thought I could be so happy. I'd come to be, and yet here I am.
I'm just remembering while I'm listening to this, but that take, like the main vocal take, I recorded that in my sister's closet. And I just did it for the demo because I wanted to send the song to my girlfriend like as soon as I could. And then like I'm listening to it and I'm like, I could do better than that. And I tried re-recording the song, but I just couldn't get the vibe that I was going for. So we go back to some things that I've said in previous videos. Like sometimes I'll add something, I'll add whatever to a song because I need to finish it quickly, or like I need to lay the idea down. And then when I go back to it and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna re-record it like properly, like professionally, it's like I don't get the vibe. Like I just can't get the vibe down. So I just keep the demo take, and that was certainly the case with this vocal take.
Like her,
Some falsetto there,
like her,
and then by the end of it, fucking
like
screaming.
her, like her.
You get the idea. Probably the trickiest part, and the only things that I didn't record there in my sister's closet, was all the backing vocals. So what I was going for with these backing vocals is I wanted like a Frank Ocean type thing where the vocals are somewhat chaotic, but they fall into place very nicely. So my strategy here, what I applied here, was that I just recorded whatever. Like I was going through the song and I would have an idea like, oh, maybe I could sing this. So I would record that real quick. If not that, I would be like doing a whole take from the beginning to the end of the song and just sing whatever came to my mind. And if it was good, I would build upon that, maybe do a few more takes, maybe add a few more voices there. So really the only thing I'm gonna do is just run you through some of the takes that I did and some like quirky stuff that I did.
And yet here I am. And yet here I am. And clearly I'm wrong. And clearly I'm wrong. But I can't help but cry some.
It's details like that that I feel like make the song. cool. This is one of my favorite parts. I just want to play you this real quick. Because, like, listen how these harmonies layer with the main vocal. I just feel like it's so beautiful, and I'm so proud to have accomplished this.
And I just keep wondering why me, why here, and why right now. Why there's no one.
I just love that part. And then by the last chorus, it's all chaos. Like, I was just improvising everything. Few details here that I really like. So, like, when you listen to it, like, it makes, like, now you can't unhear it. That's some goofy ass shit, but, like, I just did it, like, improvising, and I was like, bro, I'm just gonna leave it there. Like, it sounds good. This right here. It's not even, like, perfectly tuned. Like, I got some, like, missteps there. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it's all buried in the mix. And sometimes what matters is feeling. So that certainly applies here. You get the idea. And I really like these ones. These were also improvised. Like, I improvised one. Then I was like, I can layer that. So, like, I layered it. And then I was like, I can do a harmony of it. So I did a harmony of it. So, like. So, yeah. I really like the theme of, like, doing the la 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 la, because it somewhat feels like, you know, when you hear that in a movie or something, like, it usually means that you're, like, you know, you're in the stars, you're, like, living this, like, beautiful moment that is, like, out of yourself and out of reality. And sometimes it can be, like, you know, it can sound, like, kind of clumsy or kind of quirky. I was really into the idea of, like, adding that type of thing. I think I was also listening to a lot of, like, Beach Boys, so I think that kind of inspired me to do it. And then the last thing we got is the outro. So I think that is pretty much it. Sorry for not putting this video out sooner. I really didn't have that much time to do it, but it is here, and I'll still be covering the other songs that I have left. I'll do the whole album. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I really appreciate you being here and watching this video. Remember that you can listen to my album Daydreaming. It's available in all streaming platforms. I'll leave a link somewhere in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe the video and ring the bell so you can be notified when the next one comes out. Thank you again, and I'll see you next time.